All right, welcome to Speak for Yourself. I'm Jason Whitlock. That's Marcellus Wiley, that dude.
Yes.
Coming up, we'll tell you if the Eagles are talking too much trash.
And if LeBron just got some revenge on KD. But we start every day with a Whitlock. What you got today, big dog?
I'm not sure you can fix the Green Bay Packers without fixing Aaron Rodgers. You say Aaron Rodgers isn't broken, he's the most talented quarterback in football? I say you're wrong. Self-awareness is a skill. A talent is valuable in a team sport as a quick release. When you're as physically gifted as Rodgers, self-awareness is even more critical. Rodgers apparently has no self-awareness, none. The whole football world is shouting that there was a problem between Rodgers and fired head coach Mike McCarthy. Winston Moss, a Packers assistant coach for 13 years, lost his job this week because he tweeted out that the new coach needs to hold Rodgers accountable. Former Packers center Jeff Saturday stated on ESPN that Rodgers routinely rolled his eyes in the huddle before calling McCarthy's plays. Rodgers' own brother, Jordan, publicly savaged the quarterback for ignoring their mother. I could go on. Aaron Rodgers has a people problem. There's a personal disconnect that he needs to improve if he's ever going to reach his full potential as a leader. Rodgers can't see it. Yesterday, he told his side of the story as it relates to accountability and his relationship with Mike McCarthy.
There's always been, I think, a great deal of accountability under Mike's program for the last 13 years. There's consequences for actions that are outside of what's in the best interest of the team. And there's never been, I used to always tell him, I said, hey, if you need to call on somebody in a meeting to let everybody know that we're all on the equal playing field, call on me first. Call me out. Just so everybody knows there's, nobody's off limits. We're holding everybody to the same standard, and I feel like that's the way it always was. I don't know how many times I got to stand here and tell you. I don't feel like I need to convince anybody about Mike and I's relationship. It's a close-knit relationship. And we would finish every time that we talked, whether it's Monday afternoon up in his office or, the Thursdays we used to spend in the team room or Friday upstairs or Saturday in the QB room, and we'd hug each other and tell each other we love each other. I mean, we had a close-knit bond.
Aaron Rodgers sounds like me looking into a mirror. I see Stringer Bell, the mirror sees Prop Joe. Thank God my girl sees my credit score. Seriously, though, I'm starting to believe Aaron Rodgers is George Costanza. It's not a lie if Aaron believes it. He clearly doesn't care what anyone thinks about him or his relationships. But the Packers should care. Rodgers can't see beyond Aaron Rodgers. That undermines him as a leader. It compromises the organization. It feels like the people running the organization realize that. That's why they made it clear Rodgers won't have any say-so on the next head coach. Could you imagine Robert Kraft saying that about Tom Brady? Consistent success at Rodgers' level is predicated on the ability to build partnerships. Right now, Aaron Rodgers looks as stupid as Gilligan trapped on an island. All right, joining the desk now, Fox NFL analyst D'Angelo Hall and TJ Houshmandzadeh. Marcellus,
yes.
We will start with you. Is self-awareness, a lack of self-awareness, preventing Aaron Rodgers from reaching his full potential?
Tough, but let's parse this. First of all, you can't define his full potential. I mean, it could be in your mind in terms of imagination, what you can see and wish for Aaron Rodgers. But if we're going to put numbers to that, we're going to put accolade to it, real merit-based success. He's won, 2 NFL MVPs, 1 Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP, and he's regarded as the most talented player right now playing the position, one of the GOATs, one of the best to ever do it. You run a tight ship. You run a tough one, man, if you're saying that there's more of Aaron Rodgers than what we've seen right now. If you compare him to any other quarterback, especially those playing currently his peers, only Tom Brady could say, okay, you can step aside. But that's it. So I don't think that his self-awareness is an issue. Let's not mess this up and think that we ran Jimmy Johnson out of town. We ran Mike McCarthy out of town, who didn't even get credit for the 1 Super Bowl championship they have. So who knows what that relationship was? I do know personally, I've had public beef with Aaron Rodgers. I had private little snickering with Aaron Rodgers. I respect him fully professionally. Personally, not my type of quarterback, not my type of leader. He's a porcupine. He's tough to be around. That's why he dropped in the draft. they warned us. They said, this is the kind of guy that's not going to fit into every single room. So in terms of full potential, I'll be careful because I don't know how much more do you expect out of Aaron Rodgers.
Change his personality to have more success.
Whatever you want to call Aaron Rodgers, I call him a porcupine. There's other words I would use if we weren't on the air, right? Porcupines win Super Bowls. Porcupines win championships. Porcupines are in the Hall of Fame. Like, there's a lot of guys with Aaron Rodgers type of qualities that have success, and there's a lot of guys on the end of the bench with Aaron Rodgers type of qualities. They just can't show it because nobody wants to hear it. So I don't say change it.
Well, when we talk about reaching his full potential, he does need to change. Because if Aaron wants to continue to be a successful quarterback and keep playing, like we all know at some point your skills are going to deteriorate. When you're easy to be around and you're easy to work with, as a 41-year-old, he's not going to be able to throw the ball like he throws it right now. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But if he changes who he is personally and he's just a little bit more accommodating to those around him, they're going to be probably more inept to keep him around.
Oh, you want that taking care of me
No,
contract.
it ain't even about taking care of me. It's just we know at some point his skills are going to deteriorate. So if he wants to continue to keep playing football like he says, like he speaks of Tom Brady and his ability to keep playing football, Aaron has to change. And you talk about full potential. Yes, he has the 2 MVPs. Yes, he has the Super Bowl. But don't you want to see Aaron get a lot more Super Bowl rings? Because we want to compare him to Tom Brady, but ultimately the only deciding factor that keeps guys from saying that Aaron is actually Tom's equal is Tom has 5. Aaron has 1. If Aaron can continue to keep playing and be accommodating to the teammates around him, maybe they'll want to play a little bit harder for him. And I'm not saying that they don't, but to hear a guy like Jeff Saturday say that,
I would say just to even put him on the same level as Peyton Manning. Let's move Brady off the table because he's got 5. He's just not thought of the same way as Peyton Manning, who was the ultimate leader.
It's number one, Aaron Rodgers isn't changing. He's set in his ways. He's too old. He's played way too long, and he's had a lot of success. He's listening to us like, what y'all talking about?
I'm perfect.
And he's not going to change because he's been doing it his way for so long, and to him, it's been successful. Where he was drafted, technically, he's an overachiever.
Thank you.
Technically, if we look at it from where he was drafted,
He could be drafted number 1 overall and still overachiever. Look at
nobody
those
would
numbers.
have, or he would, you take Alex Smith before him. Nobody would say Aaron Rodgers would go down in history as one of the better quarterbacks ever played where he was drafted. He's not going to change. This is who he is. I've never, ever seen a quarterback and a coach, coordinator hug each other and say, I love you after we meet on Saturday. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that. And so for him,
believes
You know what he's doing.
so for him to say that,
what
he's
he's doing.
trying too hard to convince people of the
yeah.
Hey, it is what it is.
But at some point, Mike McCarthy's going to get a mic stuck in his face, and he's going to get to answer some of these questions.
But you know what, though?
And I know
Coaches,
he's a little drier than the
Winston
normal coach.
Moss was basically Mike McCarthy's voice, in my
Defending him.
opinion. Like,
Yeah.
hold Aaron Rodgers accountable. Y'all done got my boy out of here. I'm going to speak up. Y'all can get rid of me. I don't care.
So you think Aaron is sitting there lying to our faces when he tells us, I told Coach called me out. Make an example of me.
I don't think he's lying about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we've all been in meetings. I done been in a meeting where the head coach has come to me and said, I'm going to call you out in this meeting.
Exactly.
They've given me a head.
Right.
Yeah.
Coach, we good.
And nobody cares
we
about
good.
that because
No.
that's not the true enforcement. That doesn't change my leverage. Doesn't change my power in this locker room.
When you tell a coach to call you out and he calls you out, he's really not calling you out because you anticipated. You're ready for it, so it's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah, and you still run stuff.
But it's the same in your teammates' eyes because they don't know those conversations happen behind closed doors.
And that's why when a play's called, and if it is true, you can roll your eyes like, here we go with this. It's because he forewarned you that I'm going, okay, I'm going to call you out, or you can't call me out. So that respect isn't there because we've had this agreement that when you do call me out, it's really not real.
You can't just keep being the parent, the authority figure who says, you keep messing up, I'm going to get you in trouble. Keep messing up, you're going to get a timeout. Keep messing up. Sooner or later, we got to feel that.
Falls on deaf ears.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers never had to feel that in that climate in Green Bay. He knew that it was just all going in one ear, out the other. It was white noise because he knew he didn't have to deal with the real penalty or whatever McCarthy was trying to do.
Listen, I do. TJ saying Aaron Rodgers won't change, can't change, will not change. I don't buy that. And because I do think people can change. Yeah. And I do think all of this noise around him, when a Jeff Saturday's coming at you, when Winston Moss basically says, I'm going to lose my job to say what I really think about you, at some point that's going to have to sink into Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to have to look in the mirror and say, what am I doing? I know I'm out here balling out, but maybe the little things, the intangible things that are preventing me from being respected the way that Peyton Manning was when he was playing, the way Tom Brady is, some of that has to be important to him. That level of respect that those guys have that he doesn't. He may have 2 MVPs and we may ooh and ah at his talents, but as a man and as a leader, he's not as respected as some of these other guys.
So whatever coach that they hire, if he has success, does it mean he's changed? The head coach is not going to say, oh, Aaron Rodgers is a porcupine. He's not going to say that.
It depends.
So if he has success, does it mean he's changed, or this coach is getting more out of him?
I just think it depends what kind of coach they ultimately bring in there. If they can bring in a guy who can communicate with Aaron and that Aaron ultimately respects, like a coach has to come in there, I think, with a background with a background and a track record of success and grooming or not even grooming quarterbacks, but working with Hall of Fame type of quarterbacks. I don't think you can just bring anybody in there to Aaron and think he's going to listen or change what he's doing, change his approach.
You need Aaron's full cooperation, and
Yes.
you won't get that. You know why? He's having too much success. Even in this down year, he still can go out there and still have a winning record. He's only had 1 losing season as a quarterback by his record. He can go out there and still have another winning record. When he looks in the mirror, there's going to be the glare of all those awards and accolades and all that hardware sitting there next to him. And on top of that, Let's be real about this. We've all been in that moment before. I remember when I heard T.J. Houshmandzadeh, I was like, dog, my dog has really played himself up to a place where they're talking big about you. I've been in that position. You've been there, D'Angelo. Man, ain't nobody gonna come up to me and just tell me when I'm winning and this is working, this is well-oiled and successful, to come into me and then tell me, you need to change some things. When there are thousands of other players lesser than me, if you really want to start and make change, start with the lesser players before you come to the top of this.
Marcel, you are contending that Aaron Rodgers doesn't hear all this noise around him and all this criticism?
Oh, no, not at all. If you've ever been number one, and see, team sports is tough, but in track and field, the purest sport, the best sport, the first sport, boy, you learn the mind control of your opponent. It's a term called psyched out. Psyched out means when someone is not running their race or running in their lane. Not to get too deep into track, but Aaron Rodgers is number 1 in his head, maybe 1B if you say Tom Brady. Guess what I'm trying to hear when my coach comes up to me? Just how to get me to another place up. And if the only way I can go up is by you changing who I am, but what I am got me here, I'm not trying to alter that course.
He genuinely believes he's not at fault.
Right.
He
Why
genuinely
alter that
believes
course?
it's not me, it's everybody
You're
else.
telling me
I'm telling you.
he doesn't hear all of it.
He might hear it, but it doesn't matter.
At some point, he has to hear it and want to keep getting better. Like, do you think Aaron Rodgers sits here and says, I'm already considered XYZ, I'm going to stay right here? No, he wants to continue to keep getting better.
But Mike McCarthy was holding him back in some eyes.
He wants to be on Tom Brady's
What do you
level
think
as
he's
far
sitting
as
here
the win
thinking?
Total.
If I had Sean McVay as a coach, what I would do. If I had this guy as a that's what he thinks.
Yeah,
he doesn't feel he's at
fault.
fault.
He wanted personnel control because he said, I want to make sure I'm in alignment with who you have as an OC. They fired him. And then he's like, you're not giving me what I want? Oh, when you leave, I'm going to lie and say how close we really were. But I didn't come to bat for you when you were still here, and I could have really had influence of you keeping your job. He actually thinks this is a better move for him going forward if he gets the right guy.
I'm not, listen, TMZ just put out a video, I think, or a story about Aaron Rodgers made some little comment about he had dinner with his folks recently, his parents. And again, it doesn't surprise me that he's dropping that little nugget because his brother just savaged him. And so Aaron Rodgers hears the noise and is reacting to the noise. His brother just savaged him. He knows how that exposed him. And then a week later, here's Aaron, hey, I was out to dinner with my folks. He hears the noise. He's capable of reacting to it. He can't listen to this.
But see, those are his parents. They're going to be in his life forever. When we talk professionally on the field, I'll have a hard time not believing he doesn't think
No, he's
I'm not
delusional.
part of the problem.
He's delusional, but at some point, I'm just telling you, everybody has to stand in the mirror.
That is not evidence that he's hearing the noise, therefore he's reacting to it. Because what you have fallen victim to is selective perception. Case in point, everyone who comes to L.A., they stay out here for a week. One thing, they go back home and say, man, everybody got a Mercedes. Everybody's beautiful. No, it ain't. You just didn't look at all the Toyotas between that Mercedes. And guess what? You have not watched every Aaron Rodgers TMZ interview when he probably did go to dinner with his folks 6 months ago, 8 months ago. But now you caught one after you've been put on notice, and you're going to use that against the man.
I'm not using it against him. I think it's a sign that hears the noise and he's going to adjust.
Has he went to dinner with his parents before you think?
I'm sure he has.
Was TMZ there?
But they asked to do the football question, and somehow he brings in going out to dinner with his parents and all that. That's intentional. He's trying to deflect. No different than these comments. Hey, we didn't have a problem. Blah blah. He's trying to deflect from some of the noise. You can't have all these football people saying, "Hey, man, you're part of the problem." Aaron Rodgers needs to wake up to that and adjust if he ever wants to be on the same level as some of the other all-time greats. This is diminishing him. It's great. He's a great individual
on that
talent.
level. You don't think he thinks that? I think that.
No, he does think
100%.
that. He ain't on the same level as Manning and Brady. That's just fact. The talent-wise, he is. But accomplishment-wise and respect level-wise and just the way his peers, if you don't think your peers' opinion of you matters, it does matter.
So if he wins another Super Bowl, but he remains the same, does your opinion of him change?
Yeah.
I think we're saying he won't win another one if he doesn't somehow change.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Boy,
But if he wins,
just a little bit.
We want power of Aaron Rodgers.
Right, but if he wins, the narrative will be he must have changed.
Right, and he won a Super Bowl and 2 MVPs being who he was as a porcupine. But now that porcupine ain't gonna work. Oh, y'all better stop.
Look, man.
What?
You ain't never been divorced, but trust my father. I got some family. We got a lot of experience with divorce in my family. They can fall in love with you early and then figure you out late and be done with you. That's what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. Everybody was in love with the talent. Now they're like, man, you know what?
They're used to it now.
This dude's a problem. It's just a problem.
They don't like the conversation. It's just the looks.
Ever wonder how to get the hottest new sneakers, the ones that barely hit shelves? The answer is StockX, a revolutionary new marketplace for buying and selling 100% authentic sneakers, streetwear, watches, and handbags. Millions are already using StockX to find everything after it sells out. From the latest Yeezys to every retro Jordan to the hottest new streetwear from brands like Supreme, Bape, Palace, and Kith. StockX even allows users to buy and sell pre-owned, excellent condition luxury handbags and watches from brands like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, Rolex, Omega, Tudor, and more. StockX gives you access to tons of historical price data so you can see exactly how much an item has sold for in the past and how much it's selling for now. Best of all, StockX has removed all the risk from buying and selling online. They provide total anonymity between buyer and seller. StockX is in the middle, so you never have to deal with the random buyer or seller again. And they have experts who verify every item, making sure everything you buy is 100% authentic. Never get burned by fakes again. Go to StockX.com/speak. StockX. Now you know. All right, welcome back. Time for a big story. Whitlock and Wiley, D'Angelo Hall, and TJ Houshmandzadeh are back. Let's move to Dallas, where the Cowboys will face off with the Eagles this Sunday on Fox. With control of the NFC East on the line, Dallas is riding high after winning 4 in a row, including what Jerry Jones called their Super Bowl against the Saints last week. But even that didn't stop an Eagles linebacker from providing some bulletin board material.
I mean, look at Dallas' history. They always choke, so we'll go down there and make them choke.
That's why I call them the Philadelphia Egos. And they still don't have control of it. They're on a little 2-game winning streak and talking smack. Look, I get where they're coming from. Romo, a little bit of a choke artist a little bit, and Dallas has some bad luck.
Itty-bitty.
I would just keep it on the DL for right now. You've only won 2 games in a row. The Cowboys are riding high. Why provide them any bulletin board material? This is a mistake. This is why the Eagles, to me, have underachieved this year.
This is a mistake. And it's really telling about the Philadelphia Eagles, who I thought arrived back at the place that they were last year when that underdog mentality galvanized them to a Super Bowl championship. And then I hear this, and I'm like, oh, man, that's not the bark of an underdog. That's the bark of a cocky dog. Like, and this cocky dog is going to run into a team thinking that they are what they used to be. They're not. They're not even with the same team they were in the beginning of this season, let alone a Romo Field team. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence like, dog, what you talking about all the history of Dallas Cowboys? You know what I mean? Like Byron Jones like, who, what? Romo, Williams, Zeke, Dak. They're like, all right, dog, you talking about that Cowboys? Welcome to the Terror Dome. You're going to meet these Cowboys. So real Drake-ish of them, too. Just look, everything. This is a lot of Drake-ish of them.
He laughing and joking while saying, when you make a statement like that, you got to mean it. Like, that kid doesn't mean that statement he made. And it was a bad idea, but I don't mind the statement. I just want the kid to have a little bit more confidence and a little more bass in his voice, as we like to say. You heard DeMarcus Lawrence say when they were playing the Saints, well, we're going to hit him in the mouth. And he did that to galvanize his troops, I felt like. I felt like they had his back. This guy laughing and joking, saying they going to choke. I don't know if he's trying to put a little doubt into Dallas's mind and letting Dak know, because some players do get psyched out. We can say it as much as we want that we don't get psyched out about those kind of things, but certain players do let it get in their head a little bit. And, you know, he is making a statement letting them know, hey, coaches preached to us all week. Anybody but Zeke is going to beat us. Anybody. By saying that, Dak's going to have to throw the ball. Because the Eagles are going to make sure that Zeke does not beat them. It's too easy to just hand the ball off to Zeke. They're going to make sure that Zeke does not beat him. They're going to put 8 in the box, and they're going to make Dak throw the ball. And I think this dude is letting them know, hey, Dak, we want to let you know, you're going to have to beat us.
There it is.
All he's doing is what the coaches came in there Wednesday morning and said.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that Wednesday morning meeting and the head coach that's all he just repeated what Peterson said to the team. And the coaches, why'd you say that out loud?
Exactly.
Why'd you say that on?
Exactly.
And the Eagles secondary, you can make Prescott beat you if you want to. Who the Eagles got in the secondary?
You're right.
Who they gonna stop?
Yeah.
And so it's, to me, it doesn't give anybody, oh, I'm going to play harder because you said. Why say it? Just go out there and play. I hope he plays well, because now if you
All
don't,
eyes on him.
we all going to know who you are now. We know the look. It's hard to pronounce the name, so I'm not even, it's almost like pronouncing my name. It's, to me, that's when he said what he said, I just looked at it as if when Doug Peterson had that Wednesday morning meeting, that's exactly what he said to the team.
Exactly.
The Eagles are fighting for their life. They have to win this game.
I don't think Doug Peterson said that, and Doug Peterson has come out today and said the comments were unfortunate. Because here's why I don't think Doug Peterson said it. Because what, I think his name's Camu, what he is saying isn't about what Philadelphia is going to do. He's talking about what Dallas is going to do. And that's why I like your point about DeMarcus Lawrence. He goes, no, we're going to go choke the Saints out. They wasn't counting on the Saints choking. We were going to go put our hands around their throat and make them tap out. He's talking about what the Cowboys are going to do. This kid for the Eagles is talking about what the Cowboys are going to do rather than what he and the Eagles are going to do. It's the wrong mindset. If you coming into a game expecting, oh, well, they're going to blow it.
Yeah.
But we all know.
No,
We done all been in meetings when the coaches told us.
Hell yeah.
When you playing the Raiders.
Man,
When you playing the Raiders.
it don't matter who you play a
When you playing
team.
the Raiders or the Bengals.
If you
can
play
count
a
on them.
team, if you play a team that's high strong, there's plenty of coaches will get here and tell you they're gonna blow the game.
Hey guys,
they will
stay in
give
this
us,
game. They're gonna give
they
you a
gonna give
chance.
us, They're gonna give us a game.
chance.
They'll choke. Plenty of coaches will tell you that. The Cowboys are playing well. I don't know where this has come from, but again, if the Eagles lose this game, they're out of the playoff race. They have to win it.
Okay, well then what do you think of D'Angelo's theory that I think he said he thinks he's calling Dak Prescott out. He's suggesting the guy saying, no, Dak ain't built for this.
Dak has not shown me that he is a choke artist by any stretch. He has shown me that at times he's pedestrian at the position, and that's being respectful. Just looking at the numbers, I'm like, I'm going to take the name off the back of the jersey. In this inflated NFL, I expect more of Dak Prescott, especially when I know
The
his
Giants
level.
said it to him earlier in the year.
Yeah,
We're
so-
going to make Dak beat us.
Yeah. I mean,
And Dak
that's
said, all right,
that's all you
And I'm going to beat you.
challenge accepted.
Right. And that's all I see from him. But I like the point where it's a mind game. We all know this, the mental warfare. And doubt birds exist in every stadium. And they're always flying, trying to find out where we're going to land, on your side or their side. And look, when things are going well, you say, it's on. Oh, we about to pile on these fools. When something goes wrong, you start to say, oh, here we go again. What he's trying to do is already encourage those doubt birds to be hovering over Dallas's sideline saying, you know if something goes wrong, we've been here before, and we know this outcome. I don't think that works. I'm with you, Whitlock. It's better to talk about what you're going to do instead of what they're not going to do.
And they're going to at least attempt to stop Elliott. To do that, you got to bring a safety in the box.
Yeah.
And with that secondary, to me, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, but they haven't been exploited lately. Like, Odell went in there and said, give me the ball more. And they were like,
And it wasn't the game
It
plan.
wasn't the game plan. Like, it's a weird dynamic. You're right. By ranking, they're not good. But then by actual execution and trying to say, we're going to go attack that, good luck with that. Washington doesn't count. They had Sanchez out there. But no one's been able to really take full advantage of
because
that
their front, man, their front is still so disruptive.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we can hide some bodies in the secondary because we know Fletcher Cox and those guys up front.
We're getting pressure.
Yeah, Bennett and Long, they're going to still be able to rush that passer. And so I think they are playing a little mind game. You talk about those doubt birds. All it takes is one fumble by the Cowboys for the Eagles to be chirping the rest of the game. We told y'all that's what they do.
You're going to choke it away.
Give you a chance. You know what I mean? We've been there. Even though it could be the flukest of plays, it takes just one.
We're joined now by NBA champion Dante Jones. I want to add a little note to our viewers. We have checked Jim Jackson into a hospital. We're doing some investigation on him and his Larry Bird opinion. And so Dante's here to fill in.
A transformational hospital, too.
All right, let's move to the NBA and LeBron James, who dropped 42 on the Spurs last night, including a 20-point fourth quarter that led the Lakers back from down 8 in the final minutes. Maybe it was no coincidence that LeBron's big game came on the same day that Kevin Durant said stars shy away from LeBron because the environment around him is toxic. After the game, LeBron was asked about KD's comments.
Kevin Durant said that the media attention around him creates an environment that is toxic. Did you see those comments?
I did not. I believe that's probably not the whole quote, so I'm not going to comment on that. I would love to see the whole transcript of what was asked of him, the context it was asked of him, why it was asked, and the whole thing. So I'm not going to comment on it because I'm not knowledge. I don't know the whole thing. That would be stupid on my part. I'm a veteran.
I'm a veteran.
Love that answer.
That's the most mature answer I've
Love
seen in a
that.
long time,
It's a smart, very smart answer.
Because he's been guilty of it.
No. And literally, though, he should have added, I gave my answer on the court. Did you just see what I just did? I just showed you I'm radioactive and toxic. Go ask the Spurs. I just killed them.
Yeah.
I do think the comments, even and LeBron, I think smartly didn't address it.
Right.
But I do think they fueled him last night.
No. It fueled him, those comments. All right, let's stay in those terms. Let's stay in that terminology. Do you know what LeBron James's diet looks like every day in terms of criticism? And a nice little simple Twitter search. You ever done a Twitter search? People say don't Google your name. Y'all weak. I Google my name all the time. I want to see what the hell y'all talking about. Marcellus blank Wiley. LeBron Space James on Twitter is different than just going at LeBron James, because those are people that like you, follow you, fans. I'm talking about LeBron Space James. Enter hell, fury, hell, wrath. And then I go out and play. LeBron James has played and got buckets every night of his career. LeBron James is one of the best to ever do it. You think LeBron James is now going to say, oh, I'm going to look at number 2, and that's going to be my proper motivation to go out there and give the Spurs something?
Fuel for last night. Michael Jordan showed you at his Hall of Fame speech. Any little thing set him off. And when you're that great, it takes any little thing sometimes to get your peak performance, to get you motivated. And again, I'm not, it's just a one-off.
Oh, excuse me, I thought LeBron didn't have MJ's mindset, but now he does, huh? Which one is it?
Occasionally.
I thought he won with a smile like Magic, but now he's winning like MJ, looking for every little detail. Come on, y'all.
If Al Michaels criticized you, you would take more notice of it than if it was just some random over Twitter.
Yeah, but if I
And that was
Bob Costa,
Kevin Durant that some people said threw shade at LeBron.
I understand what you're saying, and I don't take it as fuel for last night because it was he stayed the course of what the plan is for the growth of that team. He took over at points, but he still did try to pass and get the other kids involved and try to help them make shots. And that's the program going on for right now. I need their confidence in the fourth quarter to make big shots so they can pull us ahead later on in the season. So he did take some big shots, but he also passed the ball, got off the ball. If he took on and took every shot in the fourth quarter, I could see where your point would lie at that. That was fuel for him, and he was trying to prove a point. But he was just trying to win a game and take over and walk that fine line between taking over a game, winning a game, and trying to give some life to his young core to be able to fuel them later on in the season.
I love LeBron's answer. It's the right answer after the game.
I think it's a true
But y'all
answer, too.
kidding me if the second best player in the NBA has just called your environment toxic.
But I think
he through no fault of LeBron, but he called it toxic. And y'all think that didn't register with LeBron and say, I'm going to show you what
I think KD also used the wrong word, and I think toxic wasn't what he meant. I understand what he's trying to say.
That's what he said.
The circus is not for everybody. The media circus that comes to LeBron James is not for everybody. It's like a person who looks at it half full or half empty. Some people look at it like, you know what, me being on a national stage is going to magnify everything I do off the court, magnify what I make coming up in free agency, make me look like a better player. Some people look like, well, it's going to have people pick me apart, and I'm not going to be looked at in the same light, and I'm giving off to LeBron James. I'm second to him. Some people look at it in a different light, and it shows you how he looks at it because he's a person that looks in comments.
I think KD used the right word. I give him credit for the toxic in the sense of not so much poisonous, but
toxic means poisonous.
But no, not in
right,
just
the
that.
wrong word.
No, toxic in the sense of it will start to diminish you. It will start to take oxygen away from you. Whatever your legacy is, whatever your reputation is, a Kevin Love, a Dwayne Wade, whoever gets around LeBron James is going to be less of you. Toxic in that sense where you're not going to get the best version of you in terms of reputation and in terms of opportunities. He said all those things literally. I agree with that.
And it's two sides of that coin because I could look at it and I could look at that same story and say, you know what? I'm looked at as a champion for the rest of my life. I've been in 4 straight finals. If I was sitting in Minnesota, how would you look at me for the rest of my career?
I don't know.
Case in
I
point.
don't know. Did Kevin Love get fair due?
You got 2 comparable talents, Dame Lillard and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving is going to be looked at as a champion for the rest of his life. We're going to 4 straight finals.
But he also won a finals.
On a national stage for 4 straight years. Dame Lillard, while his talent is comparable,
yeah.
When 10 years from now, will we look at him that way? And he is equal to Kyrie Irving in that sense. They're equal talents, but one with winning
I don't know. Kevin Love
things.
gave up 28-14, and people were saying you can't make it to the playoffs.
How
but damn it, you're a beast.
How many
to where
people in the
you
NBA
are
have averaged
diminished.
that? Huh? How many people over history have averaged huge numbers and we cannot remember their names?
I get it.
You're a basketball historian. How many people have averaged huge names and I cannot remember their names? You cannot remember exactly what they did, but the champions live on forever.
Yeah, but if it's going to lessen my game, I don't know. That's an equation I'm not sitting there. If you're going to lessen my game, I'd rather be a Hall of Famer, one, than a champion any day of the week because you know what? There are fewer Hall of Famers walking in.
And you'd
rather be a champion? There are some minimal talents that walking around saying they're champions, and there's some great players.
But what if
But there are no slouches in the Hall of Fame.
If you have Hall of Fame talent and you win a championship, Kevin Love is still going to be in the Hall of Fame. He may have not made it running his own show in Minnesota. He may have not made it.
Kevin Love took a hell of a hit in the sacrifice of being a champion.
Chris Bosh took a hell of a hit.
Yeah,
but they will be remembered forever in their markets.
But you're talking about remembering. You're talking about what y'all think of me. I'm talking about what I think of myself first in priority. And now, which one is more important? What you think of me or what I could accomplish in the full potential? I'm taking my potential.
You're still a perennial All-Star. You're a champion.
Yeah.
And you're a Hall of Famer.
Hitching your wagon to LeBron. I mean, do you want to be known as that for the rest of your life? Even Scottie Pippen, the great Scottie Pippen, has to hear for the rest of his life.
Oh, he don't mind.
He don't mind. He don't mind.
He don't mind. That's good living.
6 rings later, he don't mind.
Man, y'all got different mindsets, man, because you know what?
You be living in regret. If I don't have them 6 rings and I had talent, Dominique Wilkins. Is Scottie better than Dominique Wilkins? I don't know, but we will remember Scottie for forever, top 50. Like, we will remember him for winning.
I don't forget Dominique Wilkins either, but I hear what you're saying.
When Dante first said it, I thought of Alex English, one of my favorite.
Right. Oh, that's a good one.
Put up great numbers.
Yeah.
But most people won't know his name. Yeah. Unfortunately, kids now from 25 won't know his name because he averaged crazy numbers in Denver. We may know because we're older and we dig deeper into it, but a kid from right now will not know his name because he did not win and he didn't have that global stage.
But, okay, let's say you are correct, even though I think you're not. How come there are no superstars that have raised their hand and said, wherever LeBron is, I will arrive there? How come?
The show is not for everybody.
It sounds like it's for nobody.
No. The show. You see people that go to the show, to the finals, and close up. It's not for everybody. All the attention is not for everybody. Some people just want to play basketball and just want to enjoy and make some money and go on. Some people thrive under the attention of the show. When that popcorn start popping and the finals come and the media attention that comes with that, some people live for those moments. Some people run from those moments. And you've seen those people that kind of cower a little bit.
I get it, but Kevin Durant has been like, hey, man, I've been in the fishbowl in Oklahoma City. I came over here to Golden State. I'm in the fishbowl. I get a lot of attention. But that environment, and again, I'm not blaming LeBron, but I agree with Kevin Durant. We've turned LeBron into such a shtick, and we've turned the discussion of LeBron into such a shtick that it's unfair to everybody else around LeBron.
Right. It starts to get into
completely
you.
unfair to everybody else around LeBron. They get no credit or they get all the blame. And Kevin Durant is right for pointing that out.
Yeah.
There's a special element to playing with LeBron that some people, even great competitors and tough guys that want to win at the highest level and compete at the highest level, say, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. And we had a question, was he taking a shot at LeBron? I really don't think he was.
I don't think so either.
I think he was taking a shot at the situation that the circus around LeBron is poisonous for everybody but LeBron. Support for Speak for Yourself comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. Let's talk about buying a home. It can be one of the most important purchases you'll ever make. But today's fluctuating interest rates can leave you with unexpected higher payments, which can turn a great experience into an anxious one. That's why Quicken Loans created their exclusive power buying process. Here's how it works. They check your income, assets, and credit to give you a verified approval. This gives you the strength of a cash buyer, making your offer more attractive to sellers. Once verified, you qualify for their exclusive Rate Shield approval. They'll lock in your interest rate for up to 90 days while you shop for a new home. Then once you found the one, if rates have gone up, your rate stays the same, but if rates have gone down, you get to keep that new lower rate. Either way, you win. It's the kind of thinking you'd expect from America's largest mortgage lender. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/speak. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year purchase transactions. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply. Based on Quicken Loans data in comparison to public data records, equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030. Time to put on our thinking caps. I'm Jason Whitlock. He's Marcellus Wiley. We're joined by D'Angelo Hall and TJ Houshmandzadeh. As you all know, I'm a journalist, and we've got our resident Ivy Leaguer, Marcellus here, Columbia's finest.
Yes.
So we're going to take a deeper look at a sports issue. Darnell, bring in Marcellus's cap.
Oh, huh? Bathe them thoroughly. Thank you very much.
See you, big dog.
All right, let's move to college football, where Turner Gill announced this week that he would be retiring after 7 seasons as the head coach at Liberty University so that he can spend more time with his ailing wife. Gill was very emotional at the press conference announcing his decision and explained he feels a special sense of obligation to the young men he coached.
Players have been let down by their fathers. So me as a coach to say I'm retiring, I didn't want them to take it. That I've let them down too. I was in their life, and now I'm not going to be in their life.
All right, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because Turner Gill hits at a point that I'm very passionate about. I think we undervalue in the modern American media, the last 5 years or so, we have begun to undervalue the role football plays in the lives of young men like myself, like Marcellus, like D'Angelo, like TJ Houshmandzadeh. It is a way for a lot of young men that don't have a relationship with their father to have a father figure in their life. It's a way for a guy like me to go from a 1-bedroom, 400-square-foot apartment in the ghetto with my father to a college campus and to living in the highest zip code perhaps in America. It's a way up and out. And we undervalue, we spend so much time now talking about the negativity around football. Our conversation about football has become so negative. Oh, this or that is racist, and concussions and this and that, and we don't examine the opportunities that football provides and the male leadership that it provides a lot of kids, and this is what Turner Gill is talking about, a lot of kids that have no relationship with their dad. If it wasn't for a football coach, they'd have virtually no male role model.
Sympathetic to what Turner Gill is going through, obviously, and his ailing wife. Thoughts with them. But I will distance myself from that sentiment to this conversation, which I think is different. The impact of football. Remember always that football is a means to an end. You talked about that zip code. And you use football to fuel you, give you discipline, give you structure, give you opportunity. You took it as far as you could, and then you transitioned that into something else. Jason Whitlock presented. I talk to every kid that I meet and tell them it's a business, even at the youth level. I was recruited to go to high school, small business, but still business. I didn't marry my mentality to a football coach. So a football coach to me was a guy who was paid to be around me, and we could have a personal relationship from that, but I never thought of football coaches in that high esteem. One, because they naturally gravitate to the best players. What if I'm not one of the best players, but I'm still one of those kids in need? Careful in that dynamic. We wonder why athletes and football players, to stay focused, struggle in transition. In part, is because we build the improper paradigm. Our value system's off. If you meet a football coach freshman year, guess what you know for a fact? When you're 4 years done, you're out of there. Coaching, you may have a relationship, but he's no longer that authority figure for you. It's a transient dynamic. It will continue to change. High school, college, pro level, they come in and out. You may look at them and revere them, and you can have that side relationship, but by premise of being a football coach, I didn't look at you as someone to inspire or to educate me fully. I had different mentors, role models, and full disclosure, I had a father in the home, which would make me an outlier maybe in this conversation. Well, but I do not look at football coaches in that reverence.
Well, that's the difference, because I didn't have a dad. I actually just wrote a letter probably about a week ago for my high school coach to be inducted into the Virginia Hall of Fame, Virginia High School Hall of Fame. And I found myself tearing up when talking about some of the memories I had with him. And, this was a white gentleman, went to Virginia Tech, was a punter there. And through the course of my relationship with him, I can remember in high school being a knucklehead, doing the wrong things and him trying to steer me the right way. But what made him different, I feel like, to me, he wasn't just trying to steer me, the good football player. It was every guy who walked around those hallways that he was trying to steer in the right direction. And so having not grown up with a dad in the house, like my high school coach was that father figure. And and it started in middle school. I started playing football in middle school. My mom was a single parent, and so she didn't quite have the means to get us to all these rec programs and being recruited by all these travel teams like they do now. So you play for the school. And I can remember just my coaches being so influential in who I became. Like I watched those guys grind and I watched how they disciplined us. And I found myself disciplining my kids the same way that those gentlemen taught me. And it's so many guys from where we from that either do have a dad at home or don't, that need these coaches, man. To hear Coach Gill talk like he just spoke about his team, we need more coaches like that, because there aren't that many coaches who think that way.
To me, that's the biggest thing. It's he genuinely cared about the players. I didn't grow up with a father either. Never met him. Didn't have a male figure in my life. Had 2 uncles there around, but not a lot. It was just my mother, my older sister, myself, and 2 younger brothers. And from the time I was 13, 14 years old, I pretty much took care of everybody, my mama included. And so I didn't play a lot of sports growing up. I played 1 year of high school football my last year. And I never had, I'm like you, Mark, I didn't look at a coach in that light because I never had a male figure I didn't like people telling me what to do. Mm-hmm. And so when you try to play sports and they start yelling at you, I yell back.
And that's what, yeah.
And so for me, that was hard. I would go out to practice. He would yell. I would yell back, get out of here. All right, I'm gone. Because I didn't have the discipline to be coached. And so the first, my college coach was Eric Yarber. He's a receiver coach with the LA Rams right now. I talk to him every week. And we didn't have a father-son relationship, but our relationship was like, when I left Oregon State, I was talking to him. I was communicating with him with the Bengals. He goes to the 49ers. I'm still communicating with him. He goes to the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm still communicating with him. He goes to Arizona State. I'm talking to him. He goes to Houston. Me and him communicate all the time. And he's helped me out a lot. My trainer out here was Charles Collins. And he was more of a father figure when I got to the league. But I didn't really look at a coach to guide me and take me down the right path. And one was because I didn't have the discipline to have somebody to tell me what to do, because when I was 14 years old, I did whatever I wanted to do. So you're not going to come in here and try to tell me what to do now when I've been doing what I wanted to do from 14.
And that's an issue that I see with a lot of our young athletes in terms of a football coach is the first man to ever challenge them in a lot of cases. And they buck up against that challenge because they never had it, and we don't know how to handle it. But Marcellus, I want to go back to, sometimes we have to broaden our perspective beyond what we've experienced. And so I'm very passionate about my high school, Warren Central High School. Darnell played there, I played there. I'm looking at my high school, and we deal with some kids on the far east side of Indianapolis that come from some rough situations. And I'm looking, we had a guy named Tony Burchett who was an assistant coach when I was there. And he's the guy that changed my career football-wise by challenging me in a very profane way. But he later became our superintendent. And we've used football at our high school to reach a bunch of kids that have come from some really tough situations. We've kept them involved in school. We've got them on to college campuses. We've got them on to life and being productive citizens. And when you say that, because I know there's a lot of high school coaches that we hear you say they're only attracted to the most talented kids.
No, I said they gravitate, but I hear you.
That's just at the high school and peewee level and stuff like that. These coaches are doing more than just helping the most talented kids.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
I've seen so many kids. We just won a state championship nationally ranked, and there's a lot of kids that started for our team that won't see a drop of college football, but the coaches and guys like me have been supporting them the whole way through.
Oh, I get it. And look, I just saw one in the clip with Turner Gill, but let's not confuse what I'm saying here is, one, if you're a coach that has a program and you're dealing with kids without a father figure, so that usually ties into some extreme circumstances, dire circumstances. Fatherless homes, probably in the bad community, got to deal with those circumstances and hardships. Trust me, if I'm looking at what I'm dealing with in day-to-day life, and I'm a guy who had to deal with it day-to-day life. I don't compare neighborhoods to neighborhoods, but reputation precedes where I grew up. And it doesn't get worse than when I grew up. It may be as bad somewhere else. And trust me, I dealt with real life experiences, getting shot at several times, losing family members left and right. And this is before the age of high school. And then I show up in high school. My mind is not looking at football like I'm a football player, where's coach? My life is like I'm playing football, and coach is going to help facilitate that. You know why? Because I married the long game. Football gives you the values, the understanding, the elements to play the long game. But football is not a long game. I retired at 32. And I was a young kid who realized this is hell that I'm growing up in, and I need to use all my resources. I didn't lock into my football coach. I used my teachers. I used my counselors.
But for you, it's different, though, because you grew up with a dad. And so, like, when you're in high school, and I coached high school out here for some years at Long Beach Poly, and a lot of the kids looked up to me because I had just finished playing. And it's hard because you don't want to. You want the kid to show you that he wants to be mentored, and then you will begin to mentor him, because a lot of these kids, number one, They're playing sports because they're good, but it's what you said is so true.
Come on, y'all.
Now, with the 7-on-7, the best players,
Come
the
on,
coach
y'all.
is going to gravitate
Come on,
to
y'all.
them.
That's true,
but
No,
there's a big
I'm not
question
saying that they're not going to mess with the kids
They're
of
gonna
lesser
take
talent.
the other kid too.
But Marcellus,
But they're gonna make sure they pick up
Marcellus,
the other
you need to understand the uniqueness of Marcellus.
No, I don't. You know why? Because my neighbor is my best friend. Guess what? He grew up in the same circumstances, worse,
But he
without a father,
but he
without
probably
a mother.
looked at your
raised
situation
as a
and
grandmother.
wished he had that situation.
Hold on, bud. But this dude is a managing director on Wall
I
Street.
get it, Marcellus.
Like,
You can't. I don't want to point out
Me either,
individual
me either.
examples
But-
and say that tells the entire story. I've seen too many kids, including myself. It took us a long time to figure it out, and thank God football was there, keeping us interested in at least staying eligible and going to some classes, so that when the light bulb finally went off for me at 22, my 5th year of school, that's when the light bulb went off. I said, oh man, you better actually pay attention in class and start thinking about a career. It was football that helped me stay on the track, and then the light bulb finally went off. I got so many friends like that. I don't want to call them out by name.
But we are too responsible up here with this platform to continue that vicious cycle. Look, at a young age, we need to start telling these kids stop marrying football, because you know
We
what?
are telling them that,
No,
but if that's
That's like our own.
it's not our only.
But it's not
in
about
our
marrying.
eyes.
It's not
That's
about
what they
marrying
feel.
football.
Go
It's
ahead,
just
D'Angelo.
about being able to access things that you would not have access to in life. Like, okay, my GPA was probably about a 2.7. I scored a 1080 on the SAT.
You sound like a genius to me.
But no, but no.
I'm like pretty good.
No, but check this out.
Very good.
It's people.
Not bad.
It's average students. Like, I have to tell my daughters, like, you have to be better than that. Like 4.0s and 1280 on the SAT. And won't get into certain colleges.
Yes.
It's because of sports that we have the ability to kind of get in some places that otherwise
Man, stop that,
we would
D'Angelo.
not be able to.
D'Angelo, I'm
all
giving you
I'm
this-
saying is,
All
all
right,
I'm saying
you go. I'm
is,
sorry, bro.
without athletics, yes, it is a means to an end.
No.
But do you think at 15, 16 years old, these kids are thinking, all right, when I'm 33 years old, I'm gonna have a job. I'm graduated.
Man, we see sports.
from
Wait a
We see
minute.
sports and
And all
entertainment
that.
as
So
our way
Where are
out.
we going to
That's-
talk down to what the kids are thinking instead of talking up to what the
Where-
kids should be thinking? Look, attention.
What they should be thinking and what they're
What they
thinking.
should
Where'd
be
you
thinking
grow up
and
at?
what
We
they
all
thinking are
Compton.
two
right.
totally
And so the
different things.
majority of the kids in South Central and Compton, what do you think they see their way out as? Doing what?
Listen,
We got to go, Marcellus. Wrap up on this one. Go ahead.
attention is invention. We have built a paradigm where we have thought that if we give this attention, this is our way out.
UFC featherweight Brian Ortega loves the fight, loves the strategy, and you know what else he loves? Toyo tires. Because like Ortega, Toyo tires are as tough as they come, and they are the official tire of the UFC. There's a lot to love about Toyo tires. Aggressive design, proven on and off-road capabilities, tires for any weather, and the toughness to back it all up. There's a confidence that comes with tough tires. So no matter what you're driving, no matter where you're driving, you can count on Toyo tires. Tough people love tough tires. If you're tough, these are the tires for you. Toyo tires. The next time you need tires, ask for Toyo, the official tire of the UFC. Learn more at toyotires.com/UFC. Whitlock and Wiley, D'Angelo Hall and TJ Husmanzada are back. Let's return to the NFL, where Cam Newton is coming off his worst game of the year, throwing 4 interceptions and a loss to the Bucs, and even getting pulled on the final play because he couldn't throw the ball to the end zone from midfield. Well, this week, Cam admitted that there's some lingering pain in his surgically repaired shoulder, and Ron Rivera actually got a little testy with a reporter who asked if the team expected Cam to be better by now. Little of this, to me, guys, sounds like an excuse. Everybody's playing a little banged up at this point in the season. Ever since Cam missed the 2-point conversion pass, his play has come into a dramatic decline. I think Cam's confidence is more hurt than his shoulder.
Well, that could be the case. I don't agree with that. His injury report changed after week 8. And once that changed, then, you need special attention with this injury, this shoulder. I will say that after week 3, not a single starter in the league is completely healthy. And even Cam Newton said that. He's like, but now I'm in the conversation injured versus healthy. And I mean, you talk about him being injured or hurt, I should say. he's hurting right now. And I had shoulder surgery, trust me. It will linger. 2 debilitating injuries in sports is the Achilles, debilitating, like you're not doing anything. The rehab is shut it down. And the shoulder, you ever see somebody with shoulder surgery? Shut it down, like you can't do anything. And doctors tell you that this, because of the rotation axis of the shoulder and the fact that it can do so much, guess what? You're gonna have lingering effects. And I think Cam Newton is just telling the truth. I'm going through it right now.
I mean, I think this is a legit excuse, and I say excuse because it is to a certain extent an excuse, but it's real. And it's real because if you watch the film and you watch Cam throw the football, he's not throwing it with the same velocity. I think we sat up here a couple days ago and had that kind of back and forth. Like, for Cam Newton to have, the kid has one of the strongest arms I've seen from the quarterback position. To have him not be able to throw just a routine out route or balls that he normally can whip in there, or to throw that Hail Mary to the 15-yard line to the point they have to put another guy in. The coaching staff and the people in that organization knows that he's not throwing the football the way he used to. They know that.
Yep.
And so for them not to want to protect him, he is going to be there a long time. He's not a guy who's just holding that position for a backup to eventually come take that spot. He's your guy. If he's your guy, you got to protect him from himself, because he's never going to say, Coach, take me out. It's hurting too bad. Even on that last Hail Mary throw, he probably didn't say, hey, come get me. They subbed in the backup quarterback to throw the ball after seeing that he couldn't get it to the end zone.
Yep.
And so they have to protect Cam against himself, because as competitors as we are, we're never going to say, Coach, take me out. Even on a bad knee, bad shoulder, whatever.
To me, the Panthers, they know he's hurt. He knows how he feels. The game plan needs to change. The game plan should focus on Christian McCaffrey. Let's run the ball. Let's run some screen passes. And
They are doing
Well,
it.
they do it. He has the most catches on the
but
team.
it's like if you look at the game when they lost to Detroit, when you're the better team, you don't go for 2. You kick the field goal because we're going to win in overtime. The Carolina Panthers are a better team. They should have won that game. Instead of being 0-4 in the last 4, they should be 1-3. And then even the Seattle game, they lost on the last-second field goal. They could have won that game as well. So he's hurt. It's everybody's hurt. You got to deal with it.
Well, I like D'Angelo's point that maybe they should think about sitting him down. And I know D'Angelo didn't say that, but that's the way I heard it. Protect the guy, because I think
Who they have behind him?
Well, this year's over.
That's why.
Got to move on. Time to get anti-social. Our social media manager, Darnell Smith, here. Big game last night for the Ball State boys. Knocked off Sister Jean and Loyola.
Wait, what?
Dominated.
What is Sister Jean? What happened?
Loyola, Chicago. We beat them up last night
y'all
in
did?
basketball, yeah.
Look at y'all.
Yeah.
Left up on the elderly, huh?
You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
All right. What's popping, Darnell?
All right, man. Did y'all see that RG3 photo that was been trending on Twitter?
No.
Oh, man. Busted.
Oh, my.
Yeah, man. Busted Cover said they got a hold of RG3's Christmas card.
That's beautiful.
Everyone's been crowning his haircut.
Oh, y'all leave that boy alone.
Hey, for some reason, every time
Hell,
I
I
look
didn't
at
even
it.
notice the haircut now.
Me either. I'm glad y'all panned up. Focus, Wiley. Focus.
Every time I look at this picture, it reminds me of Marcellus' prom night. I don't know why.
Wow.
Some of this picture, I just feel like that look like you.
Hold on, show that picture again. Is he trying to represent Florida with the with the hanging off the side? I mean, his
got the panhandle on you?
the Florida panhandle down the side of his
Oh, man, RG3 has never had a shape up. And look at that. At least
Wow.
he cut his braids, though. Beautiful Christmas card, but RG3, get into the picture, man, little boy. That ain't full smile right there. That ain't
straight
full
Twitter
smile.
off, man. Some
Come on,
straight Twitter
RG3. You're like, hurry up, man. I got to go
That's
read
one
the
of them
playbook.
situations where your girl's not qualified to tell you, hey, baby, you need a haircut.
You need to step it up. Yeah, good job, RG3.
You need to fire his barber.
Yeah.
That is a starting quarterback wife right there.
All right.
Beautiful. Beautiful RG3.
He went Tom Brady's route.
Right.
Yes,
Go
yes.
ahead.
All right, man. So, got a video here. Get your buckets ready. It might make you a little sick. Draymond Green posted this disgusting IG of Kevin Durant's feet.
Oh,
I mean, look at these.
is that
man.
tape or a toenail?
Man, I don't know what it is.
Oh.
Like, I don't know
Oh,
what.
look at that fourth one. Look at that sword. Look at that dagger.
Like, you been walking around on rocks, man. But
You know,
Hot rocks.
I mean, is this proof that their feud is over, Draymond and KD?
I got something more important. I'm
Yeah.
gonna give Marcellus some big Twitter out because I got a little picture I want to show y'all of your boy's feet. I don't know why you doing all this
really?
laughing.
Oh, man.
Why you doing all this laughing?
Oh.
Look at that. We got that out of your dressing room this morning. Somebody tripped over one of your toenails.
Ain't nothing a little lotion can't help on mine, but
You need some Vaseline.
Yeah, Marcellus is on the
Crisco.
left. Man. You could do surgery with them things.
Look at that. Hey, man, I put a lot of work in on them feet.
Rub them together, start a fire.
Playing football with no cleats. That's what happens, man. Growing up in the hood, it was hard.
Right. In them Compton streets, get off the ball.
NWA feet right there, man. Leave me alone, man. Oh, man.
All right, Darnell, what's next?
All right, man. So moving on to the best university in the country, Ball State.
Yes.
We got a big win over Sister Jean and Loyola Chicago. I know we just mentioned it.
Oh,
You know, me and no problem. Me and my guy Whitlock was all over it.
I hear
you. And when you made this tweet last night, I thought it was smart. Said, Tyler Persons and KJ Walton played like Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars tonight.
Huh?
Smart and unselfish.
What?
Let the game come to them. Now, Marcellus,
What?
you know you're my biggest hater. I know you got something to say about this.
Oh, I ain't got something to say about this. I got to finally give y'all credit because now y'all just more than just football respect. But give me this. Hell no.
What's the
Y'all
problem?
playing Sister Jean and them. Y'all
They
act
was
like
the Final Four last year.
last year, and you think Sister Jean gonna repeat that performance? I don't expect that. I don't know what y'all ranked. I don't know if y'all good or not, but I'm not rooting for y'all.
I can tell you what we are. We 6-3 and just came off the road from beating Loyola last night. Taylor Persons is a hell of a leader for our basketball
Okay.
team.
Is he pro-bound? Is he pro-bound?
Maybe not, but no. But he's a great college player.
I'll take it.
That's a great leader. Played a very unselfish game. Only took 2 shots in the first half and let the rest of the teammates eat. Terrific. KJ Walton transferred in from Missouri. Great player.
Sound like he can't shoot. Only
Played
took 2
under
shots.
control.
Come on, unselfish.
Played under control.
guard.
Awesome victory. Darnell, all right, last but not least, what's trending?
Lonzo shooting now.
Yeah.
Lonzo shooting.
All right, so on Lock It In yesterday, my man Clay Travis
Yep.
was talking about the Bears QB situation. He had an interesting take, man. Take a listen.
If Mitch Trubisky is going to start, we don't know how healthy he's going to be and whether he's going to be able to run because he's like a younger Blake Bortles. He's actually better running the football right now than he is throwing the football.
All right, man. Clay bringing the heat right here. Did he take it too far?
Yeah, that's Clay. That's a hot take. Blake Bortles to do that to Trubisky this early.
Yeah.
That's a hot. I like, and I was very skeptical of Trubisky, but I actually like what I've seen from him this year. He does make plays with his feet, but to put him in Blake Bortles' land right now, too early for that.
Much too early. He's had amazing performances this year. A 6-touchdown game. Exceeded expectations because people had doubts of him coming in. But that's what happens when you go to lunch with Jim Jackson. You know what I'm saying? You and Jimmy must have been eating these hot takes, man. Twitter off these people, man. No
Clay
play.
Travis comparing him to Bortles, or Jim Jackson saying Larry Bird not a legend or not transformational. Crazy. But we'll have Jim back. We'll have Darnell back. Great job, Darnell. It's time for the approval ratings for Aaron Rodgers, Packers quarterback. Here to help us do it, Uncle Jimmy.
Oh, what up, blood? What you doing, Uncle Jimmy?
Freddy Krueger? What is
What
is that?
What are you?
Paul Bad Bunions.
Oh,
Paul Bad Bunny.
KD feet.
There you go.
KD feet.
There you go.
Paul Bad Bunny.
We got any questions to ask him? Oh,
Well, you wild boy.
I'm on one.
George Washington chopping down cherry trees. I mean,
Once again, y'all in my personal business. Don't worry about it.
Colors.
So somebody done told one of my ex-wives I was on TV. She done told the lawyer.
Oh, there you go. So that check.
Look here, it ain't me.
You incognito.
He lost.
All right, let's
you
get
funny,
to a
ain't you?
highlight from our discussion earlier about Aaron Rodgers. When you're as physically gifted as Rodgers, self-awareness is even more critical. Rodgers apparently has no self-awareness. None.
I don't think that his self-awareness is an issue. Let's not mess this up and think that we ran Jimmy Johnson out of town. We ran Mike McCarthy out of town, who didn't even get credit for the one Super Bowl championship they have. So I respect him fully professionally. Personally, not my type of quarterback, not my type of leader. He's a porcupine. You know, he's tough to be around. That's why he dropped in the drafts. They warned us.
All right, that was our conversation about Aaron Rodgers. Marcellus calls him a porcupine. I say he has no self-awareness. What say you, Uncle Jimmy?
What say I? Let's see here. I would like to say that what you have here, you have a typical case. It's the single white quarterback syndrome.
Single white quarterback syndrome.
And you need to handle this delicately. You need to handle it with care. Now, I feel that I'm qualified to speak on this.
With that axe.
Based on the fact that I've been married how many times?
5.
5 times.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On my second wife, on my second marriage, I'm not gonna lie, I left the motherland. I stepped out. I went across the street. I tiptoed into the suburbs, shall we say. I got down with Becky with the good hair, shall we say. Huh? Don't hate on me. Don't hate. Uncle Jimmy don't discriminate. Damn, I take him 18 to 80. Blind, crippling, crazy. Don't judge me, man.
I'm not sure. What was her name? I ain't buying it.
It's Marsha. Yeah, Marsha. You know what I'm saying? What? Did you got a problem with that, man?
No, I don't.
No, really, for real. Look here, man. This is the problem you got. You got to be careful when you try to help somebody. When you try to help somebody, then they want to mistake your sweetness for weakness. Then they want to flip the script like they're helping you. See, that's what Aaron Rodgers is doing in Green Bay. See, Aaron Rodgers is the single white quarterback in Green Bay. Green Bay is Green Bay. Fat, working, cheesy, smelly. Aaron Rodgers is the single white quarterback. Everybody love him. Everybody scared of him. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing to him. Why not? What he gonna do? He gonna leave him. Don't want him to. Green Bay know they outkick their coverage. Huh? You know what I'm saying? See, that's the difference. That's the difference between me and Green Bay. See, me, Uncle Jimmy, he gonna keep him a spare. I'm gonna keep me a pair and a spare. You understand me? You get to acting up, I got one in the chamber for your ass. You understand me? For real. I ain't gonna lie, Marsha came in one night, came in late from Weight Watchers. I was done with her. Boy, I was on that Irk and Jerk too. I was on that E&J.
Oh, that Irk.
She came in, boy, I had the music playing. I looked at her, I told her straight out, I said, me and Mrs. Jones, we had a thing going on.
Take me back.
I didn't tell you Maydessa's last name was Jones, did I?
You telling the truth, huh? You wasn't singing the song.
I wasn't singing no song.
All right, we got to get to our approval rating.
Talk about cheating in the next room.
Yeah, you got that chain on in the woods, though.
Aaron Rodgers, I'm keeping him the same in job performance 20, all-time greatness 22, character 15. I'm dropping him in authenticity. The man has no self-awareness. He went from a 16 to a 10. Grand total of 67. Aaron Rodgers, role player. Role.
Wow, you really love Mike McCarthy, don't you? You miss your boy, huh? Super Bowl winning coach. Man, this dude got 2 MVPs and Super Bowl championship. I'm keeping him around the same. I will think, look, the numbers show that he's taking a little hit because, obviously, you got a coach killer on your resume. That hurts. So I'm going to take him down a notch on everything. But he's still an all-star. Come on, man. Never disrespect Aaron Rodgers.
Of wearing my hair.
You got him at a 73. All right, we're done.
No,
Out here.